Nucleus Properties Close Encounter, brought to you by Nucleus Properties.
Nucleus Villas and Apartments, Kochi, Kottayam. Live life.
Powered by Bright Light.
പുതിയ ഇവോ സീരീസ് ഫ്രം ബ്രൈറ്റ് ലൈറ്റ് വിരൽത്തുമ്പിലെ സൂര്യൻ.
നമസ്കാരം. ക്ലോസ് എൻകൗണ്ടറിലേക്ക് വീണ്ടും സ്വാഗതം. CPM ജനറൽ സെക്രട്ടറി സീതാറാം യെച്ചൂരിയാണ് ക്ലോസ് എൻകൗണ്ടറിൽ ഈ ആഴ്ച. താങ്ക് യു വെരി മച്ച് ഫോർ ബീങ് വിത്ത് us, ശ്രീ സീതാറാം യെച്ചൂരി. ഹൗ ഡു യു അസസ് ദ ഡിഫീറ്റ് ഇൻ Arikara? There are scores of allegations against Women-Chandy government, but still you lose the election.
Well, first of all, you must remember that Arikara as the sitting seat of the UDF. Secondly, it has been one of their strongholds, and this is the single by-election in the state. A single by-election in the state with the state government in your hands, it's often the norm all over the country, anywhere, is that the ruling party has a very strong edge. Number one. This is one factor. Secondly, you see, in terms of absolute number of votes, the LDF did not decline, but in terms of percentage, it declined. In terms of percentage, UDF declined more. Despite their government, that they declined more is an indication that people's alienation is there. But the major point is that the increase in the BJP share. And that is a very disconcerting point, in the sense that it shows that there is a communalization of the people in Kerala, or particularly the electorate, which is a very disconcerting factor, because Kerala is one of the most progressive states in our country, where the electorate is very, very conscious. Now, if somewhere place like this is happening, that is something which we have to seriously take into account of how we will be able to combat it. Now, these are the factors that have gone in. The organizational issues, etc., that the state committee, if at all there is any issue, that the state committee will discuss.
The left governments in both these states have not been able to capitalize the leeway they got. Has the left government lost their credibility?
Bengal, the point is this growing the distaste of the Sitaram Congress government. That is being overcome by the Trinamool Congress through the institutionalization of the politics of terror and violence. Even in these elections now, what you were referring to in Bengal, in many booths now they have they have given out officially, the polling percentage was between 104% and 240%. That is how many people who voted. And you've seen all the photographs were printed of how candidates actually started running with the EVMs, because if you leave it there, you know, that sort of a rigging was going on. So Bengal, it's a totally different picture altogether. It is a institutionalization of the politics of terror. That is a major battle that has to be fought there. We've faced this sort of a situation in the 1970s. We overcame that. But after that, now again we are seeing that sort of a situation that is emerging. So that we'll have to fight. We are fighting. We lost more than 500 comrades since 2009 general elections. So that is something we are fighting, but that we will fight. But they are different stories altogether between the two. You can't really compare Kerala's situation with that of Bengal. In Kerala, as I told you, that despite all the shortcomings and weaknesses of the UDF government, this is, remember, always their stronghold. And secondly, remember, they lost 10% of the vote.
LDF lost 7% of the vote.
LDF lost 7%, that's what I told you. But LDF did not lose in terms of the absolute vote, which means that a large section of the new voters that have come have not voted for the LDF, which is also a matter that we'll have to examine both these issues. Why a large section of the youth or the new voters that registered did not vote, or whether they voted but the older section deserted. But this drop in the percentage is something that we are examining.
There is a widespread feeling that the left lost its credibility and trust of the people and the BJP a viable alternative?
Let us see, if a full review, proper review will come. The state committee is meeting shortly. On that basis, we'll have to see what is the detailed analysis. But it's not an attraction to if it's an attraction to the BJP, then that is something we'll have to seriously examine and take the proper steps of political mobilization, ideological mobilization, fighting this Hindutva, brand of politics, how dangerous it is for the unity, integrity of our country.
Is there any failure from the part of state party?
I have not seen any failure, but it's clearly an indication that we have to step up this political ideological efforts. That will have to be done.
It's very clear that left cannot hope for a victory single-handedly. Gautam Deb in West Bengal pointing out for a tie-up with the Congress party. And even in Kerala, leaders like E.P. Jayarajan asking for a tie-up with the Muslim League. Do you think left can fight the elections alone?
You see, in Bengal, Comrade Gautam Deb was asked about this. He's given the whole transcript. We've heard the audio clippings of that. You see, he did not say what has been attributed to him. But there are some statements he made through which you can deduce. That is what he said. But that is putting two and two together. So he is given a letter in writing. If they had given such an opportunity for such impression to come, is wrong, and I'm sorry. So that was discussed in the State Committee of Bengal. I have said it very clearly in Bengal that there is no, our party Congress has decided, there is no question of any front or an alliance with the Congress. So that is something which is a Congress decision. So that is what will stand. So as far as Kerala comments are concerned, I'm not really aware of what exactly was what we did. But the Kerala committee, as I said, is meeting shortly. They'll discuss. If they have any proposals, it will come to us.
Minority votes are either with the Muslim League or Kerala Congress. Last Lok Sabha elections, you were forced to field independent candidates in their respective areas.
Remember 1986?
Yeah.
Similar was the assessment. Similar was the media, campaign. And luckily, those days media was not as as spread out as today. But then we won the election, the next state election, even after the without the Muslim League. That was the breaking with the Muslim League.
Yeah.
Where he said communalism of all sorts is dangerous, minority, majority, and which is the position we still hold. So therefore, the point is to move above these communal and casteist considerations, by which the ruling class parties, particularly the UDF parties, want to compartmentalize the people of Kerala according to their caste or religion. The left's basic task is to break out of that, and that is what we are now aiming at. So let's see how far we will succeed.
You still have the scope for winning elections in Kerala without these communal forces.
No shortcuts in these elections. Elections are not the answer to combating this danger of communalism. Electoral tactics, adjustments, etc. What is the answer is a sustained ideological and organizational campaign amongst the people of Kerala, so that these progressive people who voted without the support of these minority parties and against the majority party, they voted and elected the LDF on one instance. That's why I'm reminding you of 86, 87. So that is what we are aiming at. Let us see how far we will succeed. But at the same time, the party Congress decided that in Kerala we have to take measures to expand and strengthen the LDF. Now, how that will happen, that the state committee will give concrete proposals. So let us wait for that.
Is Muslim League or Kerala Congress still untouchable to the party?
What is their ideology? You see, nobody XYZ. We do not have any personal preferences, never had. We only talk about policies. What are their policies? What are their ideologies? That is the basis on which we will decide. So we decided, and correctly so, I think, for the sake of our country, all sorts of expressions of fundamentalism, communalism, etc., are something that we do not think are in the interest of India or that of Kerala. That we shall fight. Election time, come election time, we'll see how situations go on. But expanding the LDF, strengthening the LDF is what we'll work for.
If the state leadership asks for a tie-up with the Muslim League,
There are too many presumptions. If the state leadership asks, when they'll ask, why are you going into all these ifs and buts? I'm telling you what is our policy position, and on that basis we'll...
you're not
we'll
answering straight to the question.
There's no question, only speculation. If there's a question, I'll answer.
Muslim League is still an untouchable party for CPIM.
What is untouchable or touchable? The point is, what do they represent? In today's situation, when the country has all these challenges before it and the attacks by communal forces, where do they stand?
Is Muslim League a communal party?
Again, you ask, that is not, I'm telling you, we don't characterize parties as this and that. We say, what are the party's policies? If the policies are, according to us, pursuit of a communal agenda like the BJP is pursuing, then we say, yes, that is the communal agenda of the BJP, we are opposed to.
That is a majority communal party,
Communal.
and this is a
That's
minority
why
communal
it depends
party.
on their policies. That will depend on how the state committee of ours assesses those policies at the ground level and tells us.
Coming back to factional feud, VS is always creating an impression that Pinarayi Vijayan is a corrupt leader. The party state leadership made it clear that VS is an anti-party element. Can the party
You see,
afford this, sir?
I don't know which party you're talking of. If you're talking of CPIM, I have not got anything of the nature that you are claiming.
You have a resolution
As
in front of you.
General Secretary, I'm telling you, neither has, they said that he's anti-party. One section said, neither has the other section said that he is corrupt. That has not come to the Central Committee. So you are presuming, and then you are speculating, and then you are drawing your conclusions, and you want me to answer.
After 2000, we have only two leaders, and the state leadership is projecting only these two leaders, and they are damaging each other. That has caused the credibility of the party and the leadership.
That is your reading, no? I cannot go by people's readings, no? I can go only by facts and what comes to us. No, is it a fact or not? Kodiyeri Balakrishnan is our secretary. Is it a fact or not? So the fact that you are saying only two leaders.
But they are the number one and number two leaders of Kerala.
You say only two leaders projected. But the fact is that the state secretary is Kodiyeri Balakrishnan. So therefore, you're welcome to draw your conclusions. But don't present your conclusions as facts on which you want my answer. Your democratic right to draw your own conclusions you have. But don't present them as facts on which, you want the General Secretary to opine. They are not facts, that's the point.
What is the role you have given to Pinarayi Vijayan?
Pinarayi Vijayan is the member of the Politburo. He is in Kerala, he belongs to the Kerala party, he is the leader of the Kerala party. And to everybody, including myself, everybody, at every meeting we decide what are the new responsibilities, new in the sense, what are the new jobs that each one has to do. Responsibility is the same, all of us are members of the Politburo.
There were news that Pinarayi Vijayan is going to be the new convener of Left Democratic Front.
Who said?
And chief editor of Deshabhimani.
I've never said anything of that nature. And I cannot say anything of that. These are decisions that will be taken by the Kerala State Committee.
Is he going to be the chief ministerial candidate of the party?
I cannot, as I told you again, these are decisions the Kerala State Committee will take. Or they will not also take because many of the people concerned are members of the Central Committee of Politburo. They will make proposals which will come to the Politburo and Central Committee. Then we will take a decision on that matter.
There were no proposal like this.
Not yet, nothing yet.
You don't announce the chief minister candidate, right? But you decide who's going to lead the party or the LDF.
In our party there is no duplicity. If we decide, we decide. It's open. If we don't decide, we don't decide. Normally, we do not decide the Chief Minister candidate, because it is always decided after the election, depending on your number of MLAs you win, etc. So that is why nothing of that nature, no such proposals are there before us.
Do you honestly believe candidates above 90 years old can contest elections?
I mean, there is nothing barring anybody from contesting elections.
Yes, you have barred
Not
these
me.
people from the state
Elections.
central committee of the party.
Elections in the country are conducted by the Election Commission under the Indian Constitution. They are not. We can
You
decide.
have-
We can decide about our party. Understand? So I am not saying whether whether they'll put them up or not. That's a different question. That we'll decide. That we will decide. Who will be the candidates is a decision of the party. You asked me a question whether anybody over a certain age can contest. The Constitution of India provides them that they can contest. Whether the party will say that they should be a candidate, not a candidate, these are matters that are just not on the agenda at all now. Whether there is competent, not competent, what will happen, who will be in the list of candidates that the CPM will put up, that the state committee will suggest when the time comes. This is not the time. There is still nearly a year for the elections to be held. So none of these is on the agenda.
Why don't you upgrade the new leadership and making them visible in state politics?
We will. I mean, new leaders are emerging and coming up in state politics on all the districts, all over the place. And they will. There's no other way. That is one of the laws of nature. New leadership will have to take over, and they're taking over. They're already taken over in many places.
In Bihar, big elections are coming up, and RJD, JDU, and Congress made their plans. What worries left?
None of these plans are made. The plans are being made. So let us see how everything develops. We are saying we will contest and strengthen the left in Bihar. For that, the CPI, the CPIML, and the CPIM will contest together, but the details of that, the arrangements, the seats and all that is still, the discussions have not yet begun.
Is there any scope for the left fighting alone?
Of course, there is always a scope, and there is a scope, and there are pockets of the left stronghold, and I think a stronger left presence in Bihar will be strengthening the struggle against these communal forces.
Why don't you tie up with RJD or JDU?
Again, I told you, the point of fighting communalism is not electoral adjustments. The point is the people. People have to be mobilized against the communal forces. And I think this is a very serious mistake all of you in the media are making. You think people are, just items. If the leaders collect, people also collect behind them. They are not commodities in a store.
But you have done it
people
before
are people
with
like you and me. You will have to convince them, you will have to talk to them, you will have to bring them, politically make them conscious.
But you have done it with Lalu Prasad Yadav.
Again, you go back 20 years. I am saying we are party of the future. You talk to us about what we are going to do.
If you have an electoral adjustment with RJD, then Bengal also is a...
Again, if you, speculation, I'm saying for heaven's sake, talk about the ground reality.
No, that's why. I just want to know what is your plan in Bengal. If
I told you our plan in Bengal. I told you that we'll have to fight this violence of the Trinamool Congress.
Will there be any seat adjustments with the Congress
Again,
party?
you talk only of electoral adjustments. Our problem in Bengal, or our basic concern in Bengal, is first, stop this decline in our support base amongst the people.
That's not being done, right?
It has. You just look at the municipal elections now. Do the homework. Municipal elections now, our vote percentage increased by 1.5%. For the first time since 2009. We are always declining. First time our vote percentage slightly increased. Even if I don't take into account the increase. It has stopped the decline. Now to retrieve the base that has been lost, and on that basis to build for the future. It's a long battle. Our comrades are being killed by the day.
Yeah.
and therefore it is taking time. It will take time. We are resisting. We will fight. We started on the roadmap that we have drawn up for ourselves, and we'll proceed. We'll consolidate and come back.
Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much.
Nucleus Properties Close Encounter, brought to you by Nucleus Properties.
Nucleus Villas and Apartments, Kochi, Kottayam. Live life.
Powered by Bright Light.
പുതിയ ഇവോ സീരീസ് ഫ്രം ബ്രൈറ്റ് ലൈറ്റ് വിരൽത്തുമ്പിലെ സൂര്യൻ.